Hi, I'm Marlon Ortiz and this is Swahili Beat Project.
Safety equipment, goggles, and gloves. Measuring stuff. Roughly about 5 to 6 clear containers, something that you can see through. Also, a syringe so you can measure the liquids. Substances that will be used include alcohol, distilled water, soap, vinegar, some dirt, a piece of wood, a piece of brown paper, some sand, and some feathers. Fill all the containers about halfway. Try not to make a mess. It's important to note that the sand that I'm using has 2% polymer, which means that a monomer went into polymerization and became a polymer. So I have set up my materials that I will be conducting the experiments on. I will be dropping 5 millimeters of oil within every one of these substances. This is the same distilled water that I use in this one, but in this case I mixed it with Dawn soap, and I will explain why later. This is pure vinegar, or acetic acid, sorry, I should say. Brown paper, wood, dirt, feathers, sand, rubbing alcohol or isopropyl, and distilled water. Okay, so this is canola oil. I just put it in this container so I can separate it from the rest of my canola oil. And my plan is to put some Hershey's cocoa powder, just in an effort to try to make it more like crude oil. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with any of the properties of the oil, and it just helps to show how the oil spreads over a surface better. I found out that 5 milliliters is more than I thought it was going to be originally, so I've decided to drop it instead to 2. So I will be putting 2 milliliters of oil onto the surfaces instead of 5. And as you can see, the brown piece of paper has oil on the backside. Another interesting thing to point out is that the feathers are actually absorbing the oil that will come in key for later. It's very hard to see where the oil actually ended up. I can see a little of what dirt over here, but that's about it. For the wood, you can start to see it run along its edges, and the sand has actually absorbed a lot of it. Now it is very hard to see, but the rubbing alcohol has actually separated, as you can see. It might be hard because of the refraction of the glass, but all the oil is sitting on top, as well as with the distilled water, and the water with the soap has this little bubbles, and the white vinegar also separated, so the oil is on top. Also, another thing that I noticed is that there's a little bubble of oil just below the water, and I think that might be because I put a little too much cocoa powder, and so the cocoa powder made it weight more, and that's why it sunk to the bottom. But other than that, it's pretty easy to see the division between the oil and the water because of the cocoa powder I put in there, as you can see over there. Okay, so it's been an hour. I haven't done anything at all, and the wood has increased by 17 centimeters, while this one, it is now at its longest 16 and 14. The feathers have not changed at all. The dirt, however, is very hard to see, but it is perceivable that some of the darker areas have expanded. Another interesting side note is that the water with the Dawn soap has actually dissolved with this oil, so now everything is brown. Also, the sand has not expanded sideways, but I'm guessing that it has sunk deeper within. The acetic acid is still divided, as you can see. All the brown is still collected at the top, and it was a bad idea to put the rubbing alcohol in this container, just because the refractions make it seem like everything is actually brown, while in reality, if I pick it up, it is very hard to see what is actually divided. I will now again measure after 1 hour. So this is just to prove that the feathers are actually hydrophobic, which means that they don't like water. They actually repel it, and that's how dogs stay afloat. So to prove that it's just not that one, here you go. As you see, all the water becomes droplets, and it can be easily disposed of. Yep.